Hi guys, it's Jess from Honest Fiction, and welcome back to my channel. In today's video, I am going to be tier ranking book boyfriends from my favorite fantasy romance books. Alright guys, so it's been a while since I've done a tier rank video, but this video is ranking book boyfriends. So I have 26 book boyfriends picked out, and they're all from different fantasy romance books or series. So we have ACOTAR, we have Bonds That Tie, we have Plated Prisoner, and just all of the fantasy romance that I've been reading recently, and the leading men. So I am really excited about this tier rank. Now, if you're unfamiliar with my channel, I post new videos every Thursday and Sunday. If you haven't yet, please like and subscribe. You can also hit the notification bell to be notified whenever I post new bookish content. You can also check out my Instagram and Goodreads, both linked down below. With all that out of the way, let's start tier ranking these book boyfriends. Alright guys, so welcome to the tier rank. The tiers are, he's the one, soulmate, absolute perfection. I just love everything about this guy. And then we have long-term potential. I could see myself eventually marrying this person. I could see a future together. Then we have casual dating. This is more of just like a fun time, go on a couple dates, go to some bars. Then we have better off as friends, where they're not my type, but I do see the appeal. And then last off, we have hell no, run for the hills. So I'm gonna give like a very brief synopsis of the books and yeah, just tell you the guys. So first up we have Tamlin from A Court of Thorns and Roses. So, if you're not familiar with A Court of Thorns and Roses, it is following Farah. She's this girl, lives in poverty. She ends up killing a wolf on her lands. Turns out that wolf is actually a fae, and she has to go live in the fae court. So the first book is like a Beauty and the Beast retelling. And for this, we're picking Tamlin. So, I have a lot of thoughts regarding Tamlin. I do want him to be redeemed, but also, I'm currently rereading the series right now, and he's pretty terrible in the second book. Like, he does a lot of problematic things. I'm actually going to put him in better off as friends because I don't hate him as much as some other book boyfriends that are in this list. And I do think he has the potential to have, like, a redeeming relationship. It's just, like, yeah, he's not the best. Not the best. Now, the second is A Court of Mist and Fury. For this, we're picking Rhysand. And if you're familiar with my channel, you know he's going to the top. He is 100%, like, book perfection. I love everything about Rhysand as a character. The way he just worships Farah and is okay with like showing his emotions, being vulnerable around her, but also is like this super strong, like tough, dark lord. And I love Rhysand. I love Rhysand so much. So definitely soulmate. Then we have Cassian. So I am not the biggest Cassian fan. I definitely like Azriel and Rhysand the most out of the Bat Boys. The only reason Azriel isn't on this list is because we haven't gotten his book yet. So, like, I really didn't want to make him part of it. But Cassian, I'm going to put in, like, casual dating. I think he's, like, a fun character. Like, I could see me and him, like, drinking wine and doing what him and Farah did and, like, decorating the house in the novella. I think that's in the novella. But, yeah, I don't love him as a Bat Boy. That's okay, though. So, next up we have Crescent City, House of Earth and Blood. This is SJM's newest series. It's urban fantasy. We are following Bryce Quinlan. She lives in Lunathian. And the first book is kind of like a murder mystery. She ends up partnering with a fallen angel named Hunt, and they're trying to solve this murder. And I did actually really enjoy this first book. The beginning is a bit of an info dump, but after you get like halfway in, the book is absolutely amazing. So for Crescent City, I picked Hunt. Hunt is better off as friends. Hunt is my least favorite love interest in all of SJM's books. He just kind of comes off as like a bro to me. I don't know. I guess the backwards hat. I don't love Hunt, and I really hope he's not Endgame, although I do have a feeling that he actually is. But yeah. So next up is Rhuhn Danaan, Crown Prince of Belbar and Fae. Long-term potential, but he like skirts the line of perfection. He's not in the second book. I feel like enough for me to really like put him in that soulmate like Rhysand is, but there is a reason Rhuhn Danaan was like trending on TikTok. I love him. I love him so much. So definitely high on the list. All right, so next up is Rainier from Between Wrath and Mercy. So I recently read this book. This is a fantasy romance. We're following a more mature couple, which I actually really enjoy. The main character is in her 30s. And at the start of the book, she is in this like loveless marriage, but she does have her daughter, and that is like her one bright spot in life. And then her daughter is kidnapped. So our main character has to ask the help of the Bloody Prince to try to get her daughter back, and it's their story. So the love interest in this, Rainier, I love the fact that throughout this entire book, he is just pining and emotional and is just trying to show the main character that he loves her and he wants to be with her. And it's just like, it's really groveling. But then when they're in the bedroom, he is so dominant and has like a filthy mouth, and I was all about it. So I love the way he was able to kind of like switch. So he's gonna go into long-term potential. I cannot wait to read the next book in this series. I'm so excited, especially the ending of that book. Crazy. So next up we have the Krill Prince. I am gonna get so many people that are not okay with this selection, but I'm gonna put Hell No, Run for the Hills. So if you're not familiar with the Folk and Air series, it is following this girl, Ju Duarte, who was human, and she's taken to the Fey lands after I think her family is killed. I forget the exact reasons. It's been a while since I've read this. And she's raised in the Fey worlds, and it's pretty much her story. I was not a fan of this series. I think I gave all of the books like 2 or 2.5 stars. And really, I wasn't a fan because of the romance. I just didn't see Cardan as a love interest. He pretty much just treats Jude terribly. And we do find out that he has like a little bit of a horrific past, but not to the point that it should have been okay for him to do the things he was doing. So yeah, he's gonna go Hell No, Run for the Hills. I did not love Cardan as a love interest. However, I did love Jax from Once Upon a Broken Heart. He is going right to He's the One Soulmate. So I recently read this YA series. If you're unfamiliar with it, Once Upon a Broken Heart is following Evangeline Fox, and her one true love is about to marry her sister or her stepsister. So Evangeline ends up making a deal with a fate, and everyone knows in this world you do not make deals with fates, but she doesn't care, so she makes a deal with the fate, and he is the prince of like broken hearts. And what he asks in return for him stopping the wedding is that she give him 3 kisses of his choosing to like 3 guys of his choosing. And she agrees, and the story goes from there. But Jax is just, I love him. He's like so charismatic and witty, but also tortured. And I love that series so much. If you have not picked it up yet, definitely pick it up. First book is okay, but the second book is amazing. Like definitely Akamath level. All right, so going into the Bonds That Tie series, I have talked about this series a lot on my channel. You either love it or hate it. It is an urban fantasy romance, and it is wide shoes. So I'm going to go through all of the love interests. Now, I will say, I posted this on my Instagram as well. I've noticed that you either love Nox as your number 1, and then North is number 2, or Griffin is number 1 and Gabe is number 2. It is very rare that it doesn't go in one of those orders. But for me, I love Nox. He is my absolute favorite. He's going into He's the One. He's just the tortured bad boy that is so mean to our main character, but then you find out about his past, and I love him. I love him so much. I will say North was actually my favorite up until book 5. So North is also gonna go He's the One Soulmate. I just love how like protective he is of Oleander, and the Shadow Boys are the best. So then we have Griffin. Griffin I will put in casual dating. I don't know. I don't see really the appeal of Griffin. I mean, I see the appeal, but I didn't like him that much as a love interest. I'm sorry. And then we have Atlas. Atlas I'll actually put in long-term potential just because he is the only bond that like right off the bat, he is super sweet to Oleander. So if you haven't read the series, the Bonds are very upset with Oleander for leaving them, and it's kind of like a bully enemies to lovers romance for the first book, but not with Atlas. Atlas is like, you probably had your reasons, and he's just so sweet to her. So I love that. And then we have Gabe. Gabe is my least favorite. Gabe is going into Better Off as Friends. I did not like Gabe. I mean, I liked him as a character. I didn't see him as a love interest. I wasn't a fan. So yeah. So moving into From Blood and Ash. So I wanted to have From Blood and Ash as the book here, but for some reason I couldn't find an image that would save onto my computer. It was really weird. So this is for Castile, And I'm going to put Castile in long-term potential. I love Castile, one of my favorite characters. From Blood and Ash is a paranormal fantasy romance. You have vampires, you have werewolves, and we are following Poppy, who is the maiden. She has been raised in isolation, and one day she sneaks off to this bar in disguise, and she meets Hawk, who is the newest member of the Rise Guard, and the story goes from there. And it's one of my absolute favorites. I'm currently hosting a read-along with some other booktubers, so I will leave all the info for that link down in the description below. And I'm putting him in long-term potential and not soulmate is because of Daddy Nyktos. So Nyktos is from the prequel series. The first one is A Shadow in the Ember. The second one is A Light in the Flame. The prequel to From Blood and Ash. And I love Nyktos just a little bit more than I love Castile, but I do love both of them. Highly recommend. Both series are amazing. And next up is for the Plated Prisoner series. So first up, I'm going to do Gild, and it's Midas. So Midas, I'm going to put Hell No Run for the Hells. I'm not exactly going to explain why that is because it gives away spoilers, but yeah, not about Midas. However, Slade from the Plated Prisoner series is going into long-term potential. I love Slade. I also can't get into this very much because of spoilers, but if you are unfamiliar with the Plated Prisoner series, we are following RN, and it's a very loose King Midas retelling. So RN is the pet of Midas. Midas being the king who everything he touches turns to solid gold. And he has touched RN. So she is gold. She has these ribbons coming out of her back. And she is kept in this cage inside Midas's castle. And he really just kind of shows her off. And it's her story. And it is worth all the hype. I highly recommend you guys check it out. I really enjoyed it. All right. Moving in to the Zodiac Academy. So this is a paranormal fantasy bully romance. This is another one where you either love it or hate it. I will say the first book and the writing in general isn't great, but the romance is so good. I'm obsessed with all of the different romances going on. So I tried to do it by zodiac sign, and I actually have it written down so I remember which is which. But first up, we have Zodiac Academy, and this is for Darius. I'm gonna put Darius in long-term potential. I love Darius. I do. He's a very close second, but there is one Zodiac Academy love interest that I love a little bit more, and that is Orion. So Professor Orion, vampire. I love him, and also I just realized he's a Libra. I am also a Libra. It was meant to be. I love Orion. That is all. Probably because he's a vampire. And then next is, let's see, Seth. So I accidentally did two of Seth. Seth, I'm going to put in casual dating. I don't have any strong feelings about Seth, and I also don't have any strong feelings about Max. They're fine. Yeah, nothing. They're just both okay characters, just not my type. And then last up is Caleb. Caleb also being a vampire. He's also going to go into long-term potential, but also he does some really frustrating things. He might also go into casual dating, actually, because he does some things in the earlier books that really annoyed me. I mean, they all do pretty deplorable things, but him in particular. So yeah, that's how I would rank them. Definitely Orion first, Darius second, and the rest are kind of all in their own category. All right, so the last three are from the Throne of Glass series from Sarah J. Maas. So first up is Dorian. I really like Dorian, but I really like Dorian for a character that is in the series. So I'm going to put him in Better Off as Friends, just because I ship that romance so hard. And then next is Heir of Fire. So this is Rowan Whitethorn. He's going straight up to he's the one, soulmate. He is just this very powerful fae. I should have explained this first. If you are unfamiliar with the Throne of Glass series, it is following Selena Sodrothian, and she is an assassin, and at the beginning of the book, she is put on these trials, or she's sent to do these trials where it's gladiator type thing, and there's a mystery she has to uncover. It's a pretty long series, and I will say the first two books feel very YA, but as you progress through the series, it just becomes more and more adult, and it is one of my favorite series of all time. So yeah. Whitethorn, 100%, soulmate, he's the one, perfection. And last off, we have Chaol from Tower of Dawn. I mean, he's in the whole series. I hate Chaol with a passion. He is my least favorite character in that series. And I know he honestly doesn't do anything that's that bad, but it's just the way, the reason in which he breaks up with the character and the way he treats her just got on my nerves. And I just didn't like him as a character. So he's going hell no, run for the hills. But yeah, that is my book boyfriend tier rank. And thanks for watching. Alright guys, that is it for my book boyfriend tier rank. Thank you so much for watching, and please let me know down in the comments below who is your absolute favorite fantasy romance book boyfriend. And I said this already, I post new videos every Thursday and Sunday, and if you haven't yet, please like and subscribe. I will see you all next week. Bye!